Doesn't look like they saw us, but we should leave before they spot us.
So amazingly enough, that was still not the problem. So we're going to back up 4 or 5 more. I guess we'll just do 5 more, since we've not found the issue. And I'm really surprised. I guess if we take out Winter Hold Restored, well, if I take out JK Skyrim, that's probably going to fix it. I kind of hate to do that, since that was part of what you wanted, was the JK Skyrim. Let's turn off Winter Hold Restored. And let's turn off Winter Hold Restored. Now, I can't imagine that some of these are the problem. I mean, they could be, but I find that hard to believe. I'm going to turn off JK Skyrim. Let's just see if that's the issue. And we'll see if there's some special... Trying to see if we need anything else. Maybe we do still need that. You know, well, we don't have realistic waters turned on, though. I was going to say maybe we still need that patch for realistic waters, but we don't even have that turned on yet. But I do still have it here in case we need it. So, I'm going to turn that off, but I think that's going to be kind of weird if that's our issue. It could be that these two are our issue, but there is, as noted down here, there is a patch for that. See? But it does appear maybe Winterhold Restored is supposed to be below JK Skyrim. Do I have it that way? Let me check. Sometimes, even though I read these things and look at these things, I still mess it up. So let's check. No, I put it below it. Okay. So that's good. Well, let's just try it. I think this is going to be our issue, really. I hate that, though. So, how strange. If JK Skyrim messes up Windhelm to where I can't get there, then there's got to be an issue. There's got to be something else going on. So, anyway, I'm going to do a reset. I'll be back.
Fascinating.
Alright, so we should make a song out of this. We're in Riften again. In Riften again. Just can't wait to be thieving again. You know, something like that. Anyway, you get the idea. I'm horrible, so. Alright, so we're back in Rift, and we're going to try to shoot back to straight to Windhelm again. Now, you know, we turned the winter hold restoration off. We turned off JK's Skyrim, but we're going to see something, because I noticed when I came back into the game, it acted like that was still turned on, in that it did not give me an error message.
Illogical.
Okay, I don't know if I forgot to turn this off, but it's still on, or if it turned itself back on. I'm going to hop out. We're going to check before we go and make sure that it's really turned off, because I just did a turn off and a restore and it didn't do anything, or a reset, and the mod was still on. Maybe I just forgot to click on it. These things happen. I'm human like anyone else, but let's just check and make sure that I'm not imagining this, and that make sure that it is turned off before we do another reset. Because I'm starting to think our real problem is with JK Skyrim, and that means something else is not working with JK Skyrim. So I may have to turn everything else off and just try JK Skyrim and see how that goes, and then add things in from there. So we'll see. It shouldn't be that difficult, and I didn't think most of the things I had would have mattered, but I don't know, maybe something does matter. Alright, so let's see. I wouldn't think most of this would matter. I wouldn't think this would have any kind of issue, but I don't know. For all I know, this could be an issue. Or any of these things I'm not familiar with could be an issue, honestly. Though most of these things I think would be fine. Could that be an issue? It really shouldn't be, but it could be. It could be. Hold on a second. Could this be incompatible? Compatible with Open Cities. That doesn't mean it's compatible with JK Skyrim, though. Something to think about. That might be an issue. Okay, it's back on. Now, I turned it off and it's turned itself back on. Now, I'm kind of weird about things. Mods that won't turn off and stay off. That's not a mod I really want in my game. And that's really very weird that it turns itself back on. So what I'm going to do to test this is I'm going to remove it. Because we just saw I turned it off and it turned itself back on. And I can't have that. I can't test something with a mod that turns itself back on or won't allow itself to be turned off. I want to do a reset and I'll be back.
Affirmative.
It just occurred to me why JK Skyrim was turning itself back on, because I left the patches on down below. I should have turned those off, so that's probably why. So I should have thought of that. But still, if I turn it off, it should allow me to turn it off. But nonetheless, I did leave those patches on, so I need to go I need to go and turn those off to get a true test, because I'm leaving JK Skyrim turned off right now, because I'm pretty sure, I hate to say it, I'm pretty sure that's going to be our issue. So then the choice really becomes, do we want JK Skyrim, or do we want the other mods that we let go because they didn't work with JK Skyrim? It's kind of a pain, these types of decisions, but it's the kind of thing you go through that you have to figure out. Oh, they're still there. Those patches are still there. Hold on a second. Oh, how annoying. Let me find JK Skyrim. This is also a mistake that Bethesda made in the UI. You can't see the patches if the thing they're dependent on is turned off or removed. So they kind of make it fuss with you. I would rather they just let me make my own mistakes, but whatever, you know. Let me find JK Skyrim here. Hold on. JK Skyrim, I really thought it would be a little easier to deal with. I didn't expect it to give me a problem. Seriously, just, but, okay, I'm going to download it again. I probably shouldn't do this. I'm going to download again. Okay, so now I'll be able to go all the way down to the bottom, and I'll be able to see it and its patches, and I'll turn those, make sure those patches are turned off. Okay, so I didn't leave these patches turned on. Okay, so they are turned off. Okay, then this really was turning itself on. Because those patches are turned off. So it was turning itself on for no reason then. So I'm going to turn it back. I'm going to get rid of it again. And we're going to go ahead and move forward with our test. Because I think without it here, I think we're going to find that this works. But let's just try it first and see, because I could be wrong. I've been wrong so far all the way. None of my thoughts, or see how I graze those out? The UI does not like you removing that because all these are dependent on it. But I'm not removing them because they're not active anyway. So now the UI does not want to show me any of those mods down there, because they're dependent on the mod I just removed. But that mod keeps turning itself on. I can't have that. So again, I'm going to pop out. I'm going to do a reset and come back in. And we will try our test. So I'll be right back.
Transfer complete.
Alright, this time it looked right. It barked at me and said JK Skyrim wasn't there. Now, this could give us other issues. I may even have to start a new game. But let's just try to take it from here and do the best we can. Unfortunately, this is the way it goes. Now, alright, so we're back in Riften. Now you notice some of the things from JK Skyrim is gone. All the ropes and all that stuff. Alright, so let's go to... Actually, I'm going to do a save here. No, well, I did do a quick save. That's okay, but I'm going to do one real save here. There we go. Now, We're just going to go to Windhelm, straight in, and see how it does. If we still have an issue, then we know we have to keep backing up till we find the mod that is the issue. Okay, more than likely, we have a conflict with JK Skyrim. What that conflict is, I do not know for sure. But you'll notice we're here without any issues without it. Okay, so we're going to have to take a look and see what's going on. Now I'm going to do a quick save here, but I'm going to leave my other save in Riften because we want to be able to test this. But that proves that our conflict or our problem is somehow with JK Skyrim. Now, is it that mod or is it really another mod that's conflicting with that mod? That's, yeah, it's something like that. So I guess the only way to really test that is to turn JK Skyrim on and turn off other mods until we find the problem. So that's what we're going to do. It's going to require a different type of testing, similar to what we've already doing, but just with a different idea. The idea is, I'm assuming you want JK Skyrim. Okay, so I'm going to assume that you're probably willing to give up some other little mod to be able to have JK Skyrim because it has a pretty big impact. So that's the way I'm going to work on this with that in mind, and I'm going to move on from there. So we're going to hop out. That's fine. And we're going to go into the mods. We're going to bring back JK Skyrim. And we're going to start turning off some of the other mods until we find what is not working. And if I have to, I'll turn almost everything else off and do an alternate start and do a new character and try it that way. Because we can certainly do that. And then turn on a handful of mods at a time. I guess I should have assumed that there were certain mods that you really wanted in this game, that there wouldn't be an option on those mods. So I may look at how I'm doing this a little differently. I was going to do this just kind of straightforward, in one way, but maybe I'll change that. Maybe I'll do it differently now so that we can find out what our conflict is. And again, when you're using so many mods, it could just be, any number of things could be conflicting, and there could be conflicts that aren't documented, that are just not, known. I really don't like this mod. I'll tell you that. It's kind of clunky, and it doesn't work very well. But, I mean, if you like it, you keep it and use it. That's fine. I'm just saying, for me. Alright, so let me go. Oh, I guess we need to download JK Skyrim, don't we? Ha 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 ha. Since I turned it off. Did I favorite it? I think I did, but then I may have unfavored it right afterwards. Yeah, I might have. It's okay. It's alright. Yeah, I think I did. Okay, that's alright. Let's look up JK Skyrim again. And what we'll do is we'll download it, and we're going to put it back in our load order and turn the patches back on for it. JK Skyrim all in one. Where are you? There you are. Alright. So we're going to download this again. We're going to bring this back into the game. What is this? Thunderchild, Holidays, Arthmore's Iverstead. We're not using that. Dawnstar, no. Dragon Bridge, no. Better Docks, no. Better City, no. Cities patch. Do we need this? Well, I don't think you need that. No light patch. No snow under the roof patch. Alright. I think we're okay with this as we are. Let me put this in the correct place. And we're going to start turning other things off, because I'm going to assume that you want to keep JK Skyrim. That's an assumption. Is it wrong? Is it right? I don't know. We're just going to ride this out and do the best we can. Let's see. So, cutting room floor patch. The winter hold restored patch. To bring out your dead patch. Bring out your dead. Okay. And then we have the all-in-one. Let's move that up. Something about the patches was bothering me. We'll come back and look at it. Alright, so JK's all-in-one is just that. It's an all-in-one. It does some changes. We're not going to turn all this stuff back on until we figure out why we're having trouble. Excuse me. With, pardon me. I'm so sorry. Anyway, until we have figured that out, we're not going to do that. So, depending on what we have to do, we'll see what happens. Now, we turned off all those other mods, so we shouldn't need all these patches turned on. Storefront and storefront patch, that's okay. These are all little. They can hang out down here. That's fine. And you'll notice we don't have everything turned on, so we shouldn't have. That's fine. But because we're having trouble with JK Skyrim, which I find that troublesome, what do we have that could be affecting that? Do these add anything? I didn't think these... Oh, it could be this. This could be the problem. This could be the problem. We don't know from what this says exactly what it does. Removes the death animations. I don't think so. This says it can be used anywhere in your load order, but I just realized this removes the death animations. So this is an animation mod, basically, because it removes the animations. I think for this to work properly, it's going to need to be down below the other animation mods. And I've kind of made an animation spot down here, as you may have noticed, right above alternate start, so that it's nice and low. I've made these little animation, I've made this little animation area, because I like the animations to be low, even though they shouldn't affect anything else, but this is just to make sure that you get what you want. Now I'm turning that off, and I'm going to leave it off. And we'll test that out later. We'll turn that on. I'm sure it'll probably be fine, but just in case. So let's go back up. It's basically messing with animation, so it's an animation. Now this, I thought this was a gameplay mod, but you know, if it's affecting the towns, maybe it is the problem. You know what I mean? It's affecting, it's changing something in the world. So I'm going to turn it off, and we'll move it down. These are additions to the world, so I view them differently. But this is changing something existing in the world, which bothers me. That it should be down here. I think. We're going to try it. We're going to try adjusting. Some of these should not matter. I know this is going to change that tree, basically, but I don't think this is exactly the same as the other. I don't think it's going to significantly change the town. I think it's just going to change the tree there, but it could change some things. Maybe we should move it. But I'm going to let it. I'm going to let it alone for now. Shadow marks too also do kind of add and change some stuff, but I think it's minor enough that it's okay. And this, does this add him a little house? Yes, this does add him a little house. So we could put this down in additions instead of game changes, because it does add a little house for the courier. So there are a couple of things here that are kind of changes. I'm going to move that down where I think it should be, because it is changing something in Whiterun. So it's kind of a change to the town. And I'm going to turn it off for now. We'll come back to it. We'll come back to it. I may do a new start and try to do some traveling around on a new person and see how we do. That I'm going to leave alone. This one, though, this does add a house for the courier. I'm not sure this is going to work with JKs or not. I'm going to bring it down, though, and add it to my additions. It's not a very big addition, but I'm going to put it down here anyway. It does change the game a little bit, but to me, more importantly, it adds a house and stuff around Whiterun. I'm not sure if that's going to work. So we'll find out if it works or not. I try to do all my replacers first. Alright, so after these tweaks and changes and just mulling it over and thinking, I still have JK Skyrim turned on. I'm going to keep it turned on. We're going to cut off 2, 3, 4. We're going to turn off like 5 of these. Let's see if any of those make any difference, or if we're going to be able to still go to Windhelm or not. Should I consider making a new person? Possibly. But first, let's just try it with what we have and go from there. So I'll be back in a moment after a reset.
Working.
Alright, so we're back in Riften. We have JK Skyrim turned on. And I have a little special thing for us here to try. I hope it works. Let's see what we get. Dun 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 dun. Come on, it shouldn't be that big a load. We're just going in the end. Wow, okay. Anyway, I decided instead of Shaw, we would try somebody new. Whoa, that's really a shiny person. That is really shiny. My goodness. Okay. Definitely a texture difference there. But that's okay. This will be fun. It'll be funny. Wow. Way too shiny. That is like... Now that's really what I call looking plastic. Yeah, that is really weird. And plastic looking. Wonder why they decided to go with that texture. Anyway, hopefully they'll do a another version later that will allow us to use our own textures, because that's not doing it. Oh, I don't have any other textures turned on. Oh, well, that's true. Anyway, I decided to add Sonya to the game as our follower instead of Shaw, because this was something new and I thought it'd be fun and funny. And oh, she automatically carries the torch for us. That's nice. Ha 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 ha. That's funny. Alright, so now we're going to really move on. We're going to go ahead and travel to Windhelm. Now, we have made some changes, as you might remember from our previous testing and tweaking. But I don't know that our problem is fully alleviated. Something is conflicting with JK's Skyrim. So we need to find out what it is. So I'm just going to try to pop back in. And we'll see what we get. This hasn't been working, so we'll see how it works. Alright, so we're going to just do a quick review here before I turn anything else off. Now, we still have the cutting room floor on. Do we have a cutting room floor patch for JK Skyrim? Could that be an issue? Because I don't see a lot of other things here that should matter. It doesn't mean they won't or can't. Let me go down and look at our patches. Pardon me. That storefront, that's the cutting room floor patch. Okay, so we should have that turned on. Okay, now not that. We don't have that turned on. Okay, so we're going to have that turned on. What about this? Did this say it had to be at the very bottom? Or it needed to be down at the bottom? Yeah, it had to be down at the bottom anyway. Alright, so anyway, so we've got the cutting room floor patch on. That could have been our issue. So let's just try testing that before we do anything else. I know, this is tedious. This is what you have to go through, though. So let's try testing that before we do anything else. I'm going to get out and do a reset again, and we're going to come back in and try this yet again.
Engage.
Now, you may not remember this, but Red Sonja was in Conan's world, or at least in the comics. They did intertwine somewhat. I don't know if that's true totally all the way around, but Her feet are heavily clipping. I wonder if those are heels. Probably. Anyway, it's not really a big deal. I was just curious. So we're going to try to move on. We've turned on the cutting room floor patch. We're going to try to go back to Windhelm again. If this does not work, we're going to start turning off more mods. And if we turn off the cutting room floor, we will go down and turn that patch off. Now, if we continue to have this kind of trouble, what I may do is turn on just the bare bones with JK Skyrim and see if that works on its own, and then, assuming it would, it probably would.
Make it so, no.
Alright, since that didn't work, we're going to continue on with turning mods off. We're going to try to get it so that JK Skyrim works, and then worry about what we're going to eliminate. I can't imagine any of these are actually causing the problem, but I won't know for sure until we at least turn some of these off and see. So, this is the route we're going to take. We're just going to keep working our way up and turning mods off until we find the problem. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to turn those 10 off. And then if that doesn't clear it up, I'll come in and turn 10 off, 10 more off. And we'll just keep riding up this list until we find what the problem is. Either way I go, it's a bit tedious no matter how I think of it. I can't find another way to do this. I could turn off all of this and then come back in and turn on a few at a time. But I'm going to continue the way I am right now, though I'm tempted. Part of me is tempted to turn off cutting room floor and see if that's the issue. Maybe there's more of a conflict there than we realize. And maybe, let me see. This seems to think that cutting room floor should be above. Oh, which it is above. Oh, well, it is above. I have it in the right order then. That makes me suspicious. If I have it in the correct order, and I put cutting room floor up high because it does. It supposedly has some quests and all kinds of things involved, so I think of it more as a larger game change overhaul type of thing. I mean, I have had times where I had it up here above the quest changes, and like had it with like static mesh almost or something, because I felt like it made those type of it made a lot of changes to the game. Maybe I should still do it that way, but for whatever reason this time I was doing this differently. Perhaps that is incorrect, but there's nothing that says this place near the top of your list. Maybe I should just move it up, and let's put it under the big SMM change. That's what I used to do, so let's try that again. Because it makes a lot of changes. I know it's not a huge mod, but it does make a lot of changes. It brings stuff out of the game it's stuff that's already in the game, really. But, you know, for the most part. But there were some quests that were unimplemented, some NPCs, you know, some items, different things. So I'm just going to put it up here. And let's ride it out this way and see if that helps. Meanwhile, I turned off 10 mods. Let's just turn off 10 more. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's just turn off 10 more and see what we get. By the way, what is this? Enchant with this beautiful effect. probably not compatible with Gilder Green Regrown. Isn't that what this other mod is? Hold on. We're probably going to need to get rid of that if it's not compatible. These are beehives, the perk point book. Okay, well, yeah, it plainly says it's probably not compatible with this. Okay, we're going to get rid of that. Just losing the pedal effect is not going to be a huge deal. I can't imagine that that's going to be a major game break. But it says it's probably not compatible with Gilder Green Regrown, so I just would get rid of this. And that's what I'm going to do. We're not going to keep that around. Because I would imagine that this mod, Gilder Green Regrown, let me see if I can find it again. My goodness, I have trouble. I imagine that this mod would be more of an impact and more fun in your game than having just a few little things falling around. So I'm keeping this one in for you, and I'm getting rid of the other. Because when the modder says it's probably not compatible, yeah, it's probably not compatible. So just probably not even worth trying. So anyway, hopefully that'll help clear something up for us in the future, or prevent a mistake or a problem in the future. For now, I've turned enough stuff off. We're going to try reloading and going back in. And if I continue to have troubles, I may come in. No, I'm going to keep trying this. I'm going to keep trying this the way we're doing it. I'm getting a little impatient with it because I feel like a lot of these changes will not affect Windhelm, but still, we're just going to go ahead and try it anyway. So, alright, I'm going to do a reset, and we'll be back, and we'll try it again. Alright, so we're back in Riften again. Well, that sounds good, but not really. I don't know why your feet are clipping into the ground either. But you look a little... Oh my goodness. She's just a little too shiny for me, you know? The face thing is all too shiny. It's just bothersome. I'm weird about that. The rest of her, though, look, the rest of her is not shiny. She looks pretty good. But then you get up to her face, and she has this real heavy shine look. And her arm has it somewhat there, so some of that's probably on her here. Nonetheless, I'm getting distracted. We're in Riften again. We're ready to go back to Windhelm. So let's roll. We've turned off a lot of things. We're going to try again, and if I have to turn off a lot more, I will. The funny thing was, I thought in our earlier testing we traveled to Windhelm without any significant issue. But perhaps I'm remembering incorrectly. So I thought we did, but I would have to go back and look at that video and all that, and that was an all-day job as it was. Maybe I somehow just did not run into this. Alright, again, we're not having a lot of luck with this. I'm starting to think JK Skyrim is just not worth the effort. But I'm going to continue. We're just going to keep turning things off. I'm just going to go 20 at a pop because we're not finding it very easy. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I doubt very seriously that's it. 19, 20. I kind of doubt these are the problem, but I'm going to turn them off anyway. We'll see. So, that would not be the problem. I just can't see that's the problem. Okay, it's a follower mod. You know, a last-ditch effort. If nothing else works, I will turn it off as well, as well as some of the others. You'll notice I always leave the cheat room on. I leave alternate start on. Of course, I'm leaving that on. That's what we're trying to test. I'm leaving this on. Maybe I should just turn it off. It won't hurt anything to turn it off, even though I don't think it's involved. Let's see, is there anything else? And of course, there's Red Sonja. I don't have to have her, but I'm just keeping her on for fun. She's not really involved. It shouldn't matter. This problem was before her, and it will be after her, I suppose. Let's see. So we need that. We need that. We don't need this since the other one is not on. So I'm going to turn this off. We do need that still. So, alright, so I've done that. Let me check that code room floor patch again. Just want to make sure. I don't know, I just have this feeling like something is off that I should know what it is. Code room floor, JK Skyrim, code room floor patch. No, that looks fine. Removes duplicate rift and gate. Both overhauls are very compatible. Okay. Alright, let's just do this. JK Skyrim is supposed to be very compatible, but if that's the case, why am I having so much trouble with it? It's not that bigger mod. It's just adding stuff to them so they look better. I don't understand why this would be such a problem. But it really is presenting me with a big issue. Alright, after that, if this doesn't work, I'll have to get rid of some of these and see if any of these are the issue. Alright, so I'm going to move on with that. I'm going to go and move forward with that. I'm just to a point where I don't know what the issue would be. Seems weird, but sometimes that's the problem. It's something that doesn't make sense or something that you don't know about that's going on in the background. So, I'm going to do a reset, come back, we'll try this again.
Working.
Alright, so Conan's game right now, with the mods in the state I have it right now, it will not even load. So we're going to restart, and I think we're going to restart our testing because I think I was doing this too fast, and it maybe with the changes I have made, some mostly necessary and some unnecessary, that a couple of unnecessary changes, but most of it has been necessary. But I think that has had some bad effect, and I think if you use something like RDO, I think, and you remove it, I think the game does not like you turning that off and on. So I'm going to start testing with some of the simplest changes in mods first. I think the first thing I'm going to do, or actually maybe I'll start, instead of that, looking at it that way, I'll start with what I consider to be what are the main features of the game that you're trying to get out of this load order. Now I'm going to assume that some of the main features are like the Conan mod. You had enough there to make me think that you wanted the nice female and you had the better male stuff, and I'm going to assume you want those. So I'm going to start with some core things like that, and then we'll test other stuff. Now I realize you had some of the dialogue and all that, but I'm not going to start off with that. Because right now, when I turned these off, the game refused to load anymore. And I'm not sure that these things, I'm not sure what you'll do with these or what the idea is, but you can always, you know, I mean, I understand the idea of the horses. I guess I'm really thinking of the placeable statics and stuff. So, well, anyway, it doesn't matter. I mean, you can do what you want as far as that goes. But I'm not considering that to be like a core, gotta have feature of your game. This you need if you're going to have followers. But a lot of these things are not absolute necessities. Even this, which looks really good, is not an absolute necessity. But I understand you want it. And it is a pretty big thing. You're devoting a lot of space to it, so I'm going to assume that you want it. Unfortunately, right now I'm going to disable all mods. I'm going to come back in here and I'm going to turn on just the core mods I think that we need to get started with. Okay. Just some core mods. We're going to have the patch. We're going to have the static because you like that and because I know it works. Cutting room floor, I know that works, but right now I'm going to leave that off. We're going to test that with JKs. I'm not going to bother with these menu replacers and things. They are kind of annoying. I don't consider them core. This could be core things, little quests that you want to work. We can test your sound. I don't think that's going to be a problem anyway. The trees, that seemed to be working, and I don't remember these being any problem, so I'm going to turn those on. We're going to say those are core to your game. This, I'm going to say that's core. A lot of this stuff I'm going to skip here. These are little tweaks that we can try out. I don't think you'll have any problem with them, but just in case, we're just going to leave them turned off for right now, because there's a lot of little tweaks there. Let's see, so we're going to come down here. Okay, I'm going to say that you do want JKs, and I'm going to turn that on. This is a pretty big mod, and I'm assuming that you really want it. So I'm going to turn it on. And that means I'm going to need the patch, so I'm going to come down and do the patch for that before I forget. Okay, I'm going to put that down here. Now, I'm not going to turn on everything, but I'm going to try to hit the big highlights. We can come back and turn on all these little things. I don't think they'll cause any problem in and of themselves. So we're going to do Conan. Now, the cheat room is pretty much needed. As far as I know, this is not really any issue, but I'm not going to turn it on right now. I'm going to turn on a few things that I think are core in that. I don't think most of these are going to cause you any trouble either, but I'm just not going to turn them all on right now. Same with the wearable lanterns. I don't think that's a problem. Just not going to turn it on right now. We'll turn on this and the children. The beasts, we'll worry about that, and the birds later. We'll turn on your followers. Your follower mods really should not be a problem. I have played with all of these except for this one. Now this one I don't know about. We'll try that out later. These character mods should be fine. I'm going to turn them on. And your fire, we were looking at that and that looked pretty good, but I'm going to leave it off for right now. I don't think it's causing any issue, but I'm just going to be safe. I'm going to turn on your map because I don't see any problem with that. You know what? I'm going to leave those off for now. Now, I have not had any trouble with the realistic waters things. I'm going to turn that on. Now, I don't know if we need the JK's patch for that, is the problem. This looked like a different version, so I'm not sure that we need the patch for it. So I'm not. Now we do have Immersive Citizens AI overhaul. Now this could be a bit of an issue because it says it is not fully compatible with JK Skyrim. So it could be, now this was not turned on in our earlier testing, but this could be an issue. Realistic Conversations also was not turned on. Now, it says this is compatible with RDO and Immersive Citizens. And it says put this in the bottom. Okay, so I'm not turning that on yet. We have to have this. We have to have alternate start. Everything else is not must-have, but some of this, no, it's not must-have, and it's not core. Now we could turn this on, but I really don't think. You know what? Maybe we do need this, but I just don't know. I'm going to leave this patch off for right now. And we'll see if we need it. We'll see if we see any issue or have any issue continuing. If we do, we will try that. Now, I've turned on a number of mods here, but these are what I consider to be mainly just basic core mods in what we're trying to do in this game. And then I'm going to add in other things. I'm going to start a new person, a new Conan, and we're going to go from there. And we'll do the best we can. I don't know if I'll turn back on any of these menu things because they end up really just kind of being annoying. I'm sorry, it's just me. Very subjective. But we know they work, and there was no specific problem with them that I could tell. So, anyway, I'm going to get out. I'm going to do a reset. I've got to create a new Conan, and we'll come back into this.
I fought mud crabs more fearsome than you.